Here we have the orange finish mower. As you can tell, it may be hard to tell by this video or on this side, is this wheel assembly right here is bent out because the bracket, we're going to call this the bracket, is bent in. It's held together by this piece of 3/8 plate, and it's just bent in. It's been in there. It's been in there. On this side, it's completely broken off right here. Completely broken. So you can really tell. Also, it's bent back there. You can really tell on this one how bad that it's really bent in. Here's the work order. Materials needed is this 2-inch square tubing, thick wall, looks like 1/4 inch thick. You're also going to need orange paint when you're finished, and that's orange paint to match as close as possible. If we don't have it, just pick some up at TSC and get as close as you can on color. The first thing you're going to want to do when you bring it in the shop, raise it up and set it on some blocks. Set it on blocks high enough to where the wheels are not touching the ground. This is going to be important because you're not going to be able to do anything with the wheels touching the ground. Next, you're going to take the wheel assembly off with 2 bolts here and 2 bolts there. Same thing here, 2 bolts there, 2 bolts there. Take them off. You're going to get a big crescent wrench. You're going to stick on here with a cheater bar, and you're going to pull back. You're going to pull back this way. I shouldn't say back, to the outside of the mower on both sides, and you're going to straighten these brackets, and they need to be perfectly, and I can't express this enough, perfectly straight up and down with the deck of the mower. So you can get a carpenter square, put it on the deck of the mower, have it coming straight up, and make sure this bracket is straight up and down. Perfectly straight up and down. When you straighten this, you're going to have to pull it a little bit past straight because that steel is going to have some memory from being bent. So you're going to have to come a little bit past straight, and then then it'll come back over to straight. So you're just going to have to work with it and work with it. All these should be able to be pulled over and straightened with that wrench. If you need to, especially back here on this back one, use some heat. I'm totally okay with that because we're going to reinforce it. On this one, obviously, we're going to have to just re-weld that back together. And in order to re-weld it right, you're going to have to bevel both sides of this bracket right here, put it on there, tack it up, and get it perfectly straight. Bevel it here on this bracket. I don't know if I got that. I wasn't paying attention. And then you're going to weld it from both sides. And make sure the weld doesn't interfere with your wheel assembly when you bolt it on. That way it doesn't set. That way it sets straight. Okay, we're also going to reinforce these. We're not just going to straighten it and put it back together. Okay, because it bent under normal use. So we're gonna improve it, and the way we're gonna improve it is we're gonna reinforce this bracket right here. So the way we're gonna do that is we're gonna use this 2-inch square tubing, and we're gonna put it right here after it's straightened. Okay, and it's gonna be far enough away from these bolts to where you can still get a wrench or a socket or something on there. You'll be able to get a wrench here and then maybe a socket on the outside to tighten those up. But before you put the wheel assembly back on, you're going to want to put your piece of 2-inch square tubing up here and mark it like I did, okay, with a marker. You can see that. Clean the paint off, all right, and get ready to weld this back on. Now, I don't care how long you make this, really needs to be, I would say let's just go ahead and figure on making this go all the way to the deck down here. Shadows are making it hard to see, but you've got it on the trailer, or on this mower here, where you can see how long. Just use this as a template. You're going to want to cap the top so it doesn't fill up with trash. There's a little weep hole back here, you can see right there. Just leave that open so if any trash does get in there, it can drain out. And then you're going to tack this up. Okay, you're going to tack this up before you put the wheel assembly on there. No, cancel that. You're going to put the wheel assembly on and make sure that this thing is straight. Make sure it's straight. Use your eyeballs, line it up and everything. Then you're going to put this reinforcement tube on there and tack it up. That way we know for sure that it's all straight. Once it's tacked up, you verify that it's perfectly straight, 90 degrees with the deck. Then go ahead and weld this on. Go ahead and weld it up. Put your little cap on top, weld it everywhere where you can weld it, except, like we said, down here at the bottom, right there, as a weep hole, so any trash, water, moisture can get out of there. That's the same thing that's going to happen on every single one of these brackets. This one will go here. You can see how bent that is right there. It's just a big gap right there. So you're going to have to, like I said before, when you take this wheel assembly off, you're going to have to get a crescent wrench, and you're going to have to put on here, and you're going to have to pull to the edge of the trailer to straighten that up. If you need to put a little heat right there, find where it is bent. You can kind of see it. That's where your heat's going to be, right in between my marks there. And then gently pull back. It doesn't need to be red hot. Just get it warm enough where you can move it. That heat will create a little bit of a weaker spot. Okay, that way when you're pulling, it'll bend at the heat. If it's not bending where you want it to bend, heat it up a little more. Pull it back, get it straight. Heat weakens metal. But we're going to reinforce it with this tubing, so I'm not worried about heating it up a little bit to get it fixed. Plus, on this one up here, we're going to have to weld that one completely on anyway, reinforce it with the tube, and then we'll be all set. That's everything on the orange mower. Make sure you paint it when you're finished.